So earlier I did a video on finding your purpose and creating a mission statement, and I mentioned the book, A Personal Mission Statement, Your Roadmap to Happiness by Michael Stawicki. Like the last video, I'm probably going to butcher his name. But yeah, one of the chapters has a bunch of questions to help you, find some clarity while doing the personal mission statement. So I figured I'd do a video with those. So if you end up having any comments or questions, please feel free to join the conversation down below in the comments. And if you end up finding this interesting, please feel free to hit the like button. So, in the chapter that had the questions, there was 27 questions, then a separate set of 10 questions. So I'll run kind of quickly through the first set of questions. 1. Identify the most important roles you perform or you want to perform in the future. Example: father, husband, son, brother, church community member, employee, friend, writer. Most of those are kind of like what relationship you are in a way, like, a family member. And then some of them are things you do, like employee or writer. So where writer is on there, you could substitute any number of things that you like to do that, in the case of writing, you could potentially get paid for, but doesn't necessarily. So photographer is another example. 2. What are the 3 most important values, qualities, factors in your life? 3. Who do you want to become and why? What do you want to do? What do you want to see? What do you want to, so what do you want to do was 4, what do you want to see is 5. 6 was what do you want to have? 7, where do you want to go? List those goals, wishes without limits in your mind, as everything is possible. Work on them till your mind is emptied. Stop when you cannot think about anything new. Then take each from the list and ask yourself why. Why would I want it? What's a deep reason? 8. What is the meaning of your everyday work? 9. What do others think about you? What are the most surprising opinions you've heard about you? How did these opinions surprise you? What can you discover about yourself from those surprising areas? So I found number 9, about people's opinions, was kind of interesting because sometimes in personal development we're told not to care what other people think. We're supposed to take feedback, evaluate whether it has merit or not, and use it to improve ourselves. But beyond that, we're just supposed to take opinions with a grain of salt and, move on, because people, potentially heat us, and just, whatever garbage they spew might have no value in it. So then listening to their opinions isn't gonna help us in any way. Then again, your friends are closer to you, so they may or may not have a valuable opinion. So, um, the whole opinion thing, um, it's interesting. There might be some valid points in there. Question 10. What do you like to do? What is your passion? What are your hobbies? 11. What have you been doing for the years? What does this tell you about yourself? 12. What did you like to do when you were a kid? 13. As a child, who or what did you want to be when you grew up? So, 13 is basically, what was your dream when you were a kid? Did you want to be a firefighter, a policeman, an astronaut? Certain things may or may not be realistic, depending on physical ability or skill sets, but taking a look at your dreams, definitely big picture when it comes to creating a personal mission statement or finding a purpose. 14. What are you good at and why? This goes hand in hand with the last question, because if you take a look at what you want to do, your dream, then you can look at what you're good at, and kind of see if they overlap at all, or if they're light years apart. If you want to be an astronaut, but you don't have any skills at all related to, being able to go into outer space, that might not work. But if you like music, and because you practice an hour a day, you're good at music, that might be something. Your interest and what you're good at overlap. So when you get all this data and compile it, 13 and 14 are going to go hand in hand. 15. What do you like doing? What activity and or work do you find interesting and or challenging? 16. What activities are you trying to avoid? Why? So 15 and 16 seem to go together too. It's looking at what you like and what you don't like as far as activities or work. So if you're looking at work, if you like doing something physical, and you avoid desk jobs, that could be some pertinent information when you're taking all of these answers and compiling them to a mission statement. 17. What do you consider your greatest failure? Why? 18. What do you consider your greatest success? Why? Was it hard to choose this one? Can you think of more success examples? 19. What are your 3 greatest achievements in your career? What are your 3 greatest achievements in your career as recognized by your superiors? Are they different than the ones pointed out by you? Why is that so? 20. Who are the most important people in your life? Why? What do you admire about them? 21. What sort of activity or work gives you the greatest feeling of importance and personal satisfaction? 22. What have you always wanted to, but always been afraid to attempt? 23. What one great thing would you dare to dream if you knew you could not fail? 24. Remind yourself of 3 recent times you felt stressed. What made you feel that way? How did you act in that situation? How would you like to act in a similar case in the future? Imagine a specific situation and yourself acting in this new, improved way. 25. Remind yourself of 3 recent times you felt loved or happy. What made you feel that way? What can you do to repeat such situations more often? 26. List your life goals. Imagine you have no limitation, that you are like Nick Vujicic or Anthony Robbins. Imagine then that you could be absolutely guaranteed of success in any of your goals. Which one would you choose to achieve? Why this one? 27. Recall the works, jobs, projects that you enjoyed doing. Why? Name the exact factors that caused you to enjoy them. So that concluded the first set of 27 questions. So the next set of 10 from the chapter are: 1. Visualize the relationship in your marriage after 20 and then after 40 years. Try to capture its essence created over a period of that many years. 2. Imagine that you have only 6 months of life left. How would it change your actions? Mr. Covey, who's the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I believe that's the title of it, invited his students to play this game of mind for a week and keep a diary of their experiences. So that's sort of interesting, taking a look at if you have 6 months to live, how that would change your actions, and then reflecting on that at least once a day for a week. It almost seems depressing, but it also makes you reflect on, knowing this piece of information, what could I do to make an impact with the limited amount of time I have? 3. Recall the time of the biggest suffering in your life. Examine it in your mind and ask yourself questions. What caused suffering? What got you through that experience? How did you act? How would you act if something like that ever happened again? Imagine such a situation in the future and yourself acting in this new, improved way. So this question kind of seems like something that if you're a blogger or if you write a book or anything, it's a good starting point, because if you've gone through some kind of a problem and you've solved it, then if you write it, or in this case I'm doing a video, if you shot a vlog, if you write a book about it, how you dealt with that problem. There's chances that other people, went through a similar problem and might, be interested in how to fix it, because, that's something valuable to shortcut the pain and suffering, to kind of collapse the time it took to go from experiencing suffering to being over it. So, question 4. Recall the time you felt most loved. What did you feel loved, or why did you feel loved then? What can you do to attract similar experiences in the future? So I almost feel like 3 and 4 were maybe questions in the first set of 27, just maybe worded slightly different. But either way, answering those could potentially be helpful, even if it's, a repeat of a similar question. 5. Visualize the end of your present career. Will it be a retirement? Will you change your occupation? What contributions, what achievements will you want to have made to your field? 6. What would you do? How would you change your life if you received $1 million cash today? Imagine a situation that is comprehensible to you: winning a lottery, being given an inheritance, getting an enormous order for your business. Put yourself in your mind in front of such a pile of cash and see in your mind, how would that change your life? 7. Write down at least 3 turning points in your life. They can be negative or positive. Death in the family, getting married, changing a job, birth of your first child, severe illness, going to college, whatever made a significant change in your life. How did those impact you? Why? Try to think of someone who in similar circumstances changed his or her life in exactly the opposite direction. If you don't know such a person, try to search the internet. There is an experience of all humanity preserved. As unique as each of us is, you can probably find such a story. Then dwell on the differences between you and them. Why did you choose to act your way whereas there was an alternative? Did you act according to your values or against them? 8. Visualize how your life will be in 5, 10, and 20 years from now, if you don't make any significant decisions for all of those years. Imagine you let life go as a flow. Dwell on your finances, health, relationships, personal growth, spirituality, career. Do you really want your life to look like this? What is missing in those pictures? Think more in terms of values and feelings than of physical possessions. If you answered, yes, I like my life that way, nothing is missing, then you already live your personal mission. To make a statement, you need just to write down what you are doing now. 9. There is an NLP technique called the core transformation. It is supposed to help finding motivation for achieving your goals, but I found it very helpful in expanding my vision. Start from your goal, write it down, and I mean any goal. The more significant, the quicker you will go through the exercise, but you can even pick something from your to-do list. Imagine you have achieved your goal definitely and absolutely. What does this achievement give you, which is even more wonderful than your goal? And again, what does it give you? For example, your goal is to earn $100,000 a year. Imagine you are earning this sum. What does it give you, which is even more wonderful than the 100,000? Your answer: I can quit my job and spend more time with my family. Imagine you quit your job and spend more time with your family. What does it give you, which is more wonderful than that? Your answer: well, I can help my friends now, take care of their kids when they are at work, organize sports tournaments for kids. And the book keeps on going with a handful of more examples of how, okay, what's more wonderful than that, and giving an, example. So I'm just going to skip over the more examples to go to question 10. Visualize your own funeral. Who is there? What are they saying about you? Your family, friends, church members, workmates. Write your own specific eulogy. Actually write it down. So hopefully you found some value in me sharing these questions from A Personal Mission Statement book by Michael Stawicki. So hopefully you're able to take these questions and answer them, and make a personal mission statement if that's your desire. If you haven't already subscribed, maybe consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification so you can see when I upload more videos like this or videos on other topics. Thanks, and have a good day.